meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Of New York Times.
Head for the park and greet the Mets. Hot dogs, green grass, all out of shade. Guaranteed to have a heck of a day because those Mets are really rocking that ball, hitting those home runs over the wall. In Jersey, Brooklyn, Queens, uptown and down. Let's go Mets! That's the cheer all over New York Times. Meet the Mets. 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 Head for the park and greet the Mets. Hot dogs, green grass, all out of shade. Guaranteed to have a heck of a day because those Mets are really rocking the ball, hitting those home runs over the wall. New Jersey, Brooklyn, Queens, uptown and down. Let's go Mets! That's the cheer all over New York Times. Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Let's go Mets!
Let's try this again. Hold on a second. Hi, everybody. This is the baseball. Hi, the amazing, spectacular, terrific. The people's champion and a mute. No, I was just joking now. What happened? Let's start this over. So here we are, back again, talking about Carlos Correa for the millionth time. I had said last week, and I was put myself out on the limb, that if the Mets and Carlos Correa were not signed on the dotted line of contract by Wednesday, that this deal was probably going to collapse. Now, yesterday was a very interesting day because early on we talked about it looked like the Mets were going to sign him. And then when I got off live stream, yesterday, the story came out saying the Mets had gotten very frustrated with this situation. And now we're in a situation where there's still no talk. The agent's talking to the Twins, and I think another team. I've not been able to find out what other team that is. Hopefully, we'll find out. Um, Maybe the Giants, because the Giants still wanted to sign him. They just didn't get a chance to negotiate because they knew they were going to lose a lot of money because they knew it was in the what the results of the physical was. But again, I know a lot of people want this player, but he's not a Hall of Fame player. There's controversy that has surrounded him to a certain degree. Um, the Braves are not signed. This is not a Braves type of player. They're not going to spend a lot of money on him. Um, so I would think that don't be surprised if the Giants jump back into it. The Twins obviously offering him 10 years and they walked away. Um, I am not a big supporter of this player because I don't think he's good enough in terms of just the regular season. You still have to get to postseason. And I know he hits good pitching, but he's always hurt. And this is beside this injury that he got in 2014. He still missed 46 games the last 2 seasons. He missed half a year in 2018, missed half a year in 2019. The guy is unreliable. Um, so it's one of these things. I would just walk away. And um, I know you're all like in love with this player, but I was going through his numbers, and I've been going through his numbers for the last few weeks. His OPS is very high because he's a very strong defensive player, but his offense is not great. 2 of the last 5 years, his OPS plus was below 100, which means he was below average. Um, Now we already see how annoyed. I've seen how annoyed the fans have been because they've been writing to me since last night, and a lot of the old fans have come in here and they've been going absolutely fucking crazy, going crazy like you can't imagine. Bringing up stuff from the past, the same old Mets. That this it has nothing to do with the situation, and I can tell. And I mean, you go in the last 2 videos, my subscribers and these random hoes. I mean, coming in here arguing with them, and it's like, and they're Met fans, or they claim to be. Um, and it's like I haven't heard these people in a long time, and they're coming in here fighting with everybody. Now, this is a situation you have to ask yourself. This player has not played for the team yet. Um, and look at all this drama. Look at all this anger that he's brought upon the fandom. Now, I know Steve Cohen does listen to the fans. He should just walk away from this deal. Just walk away. Let me get into the chat. Had a bit of a weird start to the live stream today. John Caleri, you new, I think. At Aiden Davila, the sports talker. Okay, I guess you're a Mike Francesa fan. Hello, John Rossi. Hello, Southern Cal Mets fan. Baseball for life. Let's see. Aaron Gandia. Aaron's always here. Jukebox Joe. Mika Goldsman. Alex Soto. Hi, Alex. Hello, John Kearney. Hello, Thor. Thor looks more like Odin in this picture. No offense. But you have this player. Hello, Randy Fernandez. Hello, Aberdera Man Barry. He's living in La La Land. Trevor Bauer could win the Cy Young this year. Well, if he throws that spider tack ball, maybe. But Correa is one of these players, and I hate being like this. I hate being like this about a player. And I know it's not the popular thing to do on YouTube. But I want the Mets to win. I want the Mets to have the best players. And I don't think he's the best of what they need. He's not a number 5 hitter, and that's definitely what they need. He's not a number 5 hitter. Where does he play? Again, let me go through some of the games. The games is like the most important thing to me. We've been complaining about this injury from 2014, but he's missed numerous games. He's missed so many games. Let me just correct myself here. 2017, he missed 53 games. 2018 is the correction. He missed 52 games. Ding, 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 ding. Thank you, Mr. Soto. Oop. Thank you, Mr. Soto. I appreciate it. And thank you, the sports doctor, too. Ding, ding, ding. Still need. I forgot to get a bell today. Forgot. So in 2019, he played 75 games. 75 games. Okay. In 21, he played 148 games. That's the second most he's ever played. He's only played 150 games one time in his career. Missed 14 games. Last year, he missed 26 games. His OPS plus for his career is 129. Now, 2 of the last 5 years, his OPS plus has been under 100. Now, the OPS over his career, like I said, is 129. But it's okay. But he's got to play. This guy has got to play. He's got to stay on the field. An interesting stat. Grounded to 17 double plays in 2018 when he only played 110 games. Wow. We know he has good pitching. But is it worth it? Is it worth this drama with this player? You have other guys that are going to be on this market next year. Now this team won 101 wins. So this is the kind of move that you bring in for a team that wants to win in postseason. Okay, and the issue is can he stay healthy over the course of a 12-year deal? I don't know. I don't know, and that's why the insurance company will not insure it. Abracadabra. Harry says, Correa said himself when on ESPN with Jimmy Rollins and Pedro on a broadcast, owners and GMs care more about plate discipline than anything, as that does not deteriorate with age, but improve if anything. He would know better than I would. I don't see what the point of that when it comes to him. Mike Lowe says pitching wins titles. Astros had, and I would mention this. I hadn't mentioned this. The Astros let him walk. There's no better team that knows you than your team. Okay. They only offered him a qualifying offer. They did not sign him. So that's been a reason why the Astros did not re-sign him. They gave him a qualifying offer, but he didn't sign with them. Very strange. Hello, Ron Regan. Ron Regan, I'm not sure, but you know now why San Fran backed out. Well, San Francisco, what I understand, they wanted to renegotiate. And they weren't ready to announce, what the deal was. Randy says this, it's easy to let him walk because they have Jeremy Payne. Yeah, but you didn't know that. You didn't know that at the time. Okay? Nobody knew that what Jeremy Pena was going to be end postseason. So you don't know that. The sports doctor says, who's this guy? Mike Schmidt or George Brett? Ray Knight was better than this bum. I won't go that far. Yep. When it comes to Ray Knight, you're barking up the wrong tree when it comes to what I think of Ray Knight over his career with the Mets. Now, people sort of, fall in love with 86, but they forget 84 and 85, 85 in particular. And Jeremy Pena seems like there's no drama to Jeremy Pena, too, Again, the guy has not signed. Correa has not signed with the Mets. And look how angry he's made the Met fans. I saw it the last 24 hours, the comments. I mean, there've been some nasty people coming in here, and I had to sort of correct somebody because they were getting very personal. One of the other people leaving comments is like, "You got to stop." And normally I would throw him out of here, and I had to throw a couple of people in it. Ron Regan says, "Just tuned in as a Mets fan. Do you think they should do a new deal or no? No, just walk away. Just walk away. If it's going to be this much of a hassle, just walk away." What's that line in baseball? You think long, you think wrong. Just walk away. Just let it go. Say screw this and move on to the next thing. This team won 101 games. I mean, how much better is he going to make them? Oh, but he's a great player. He's not going to the Hall of Fame. Oh, he's a great player. Yeah, but he's not as good as Lindor. But he's a great player. He's not as good as Pete. So he's not even the second best player on the Mets. And I would say that Brandon Nimmo had a better year last year than he did. This is a player that's never scored 100 runs. This is a player that's never hit 30 home runs. This is a player that's never driven 100 runs. Just looking up on Baseball Reference. And a lot of his WAR is based on his defense. I wanted the bat that was going to bat in the middle of this lineup. He is not a number 5 hitter. I've been trying to figure out where to bat him in this lineup. So he is a player that he just doesn't quite fit in my mind. Anthony, I guess they're talking about Bauer. I guess we're getting to Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer. Anthony says this. You think as you say, Aroldis Chapman can be fixed and worth taking a chance on? Aroldis Chapman's not fixed. He's not fixed. What are you talking about? Since they cracked down on the spider tag, he's not fixed. And that guy's had all kinds of problems. Are you kidding me? Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding. Thank you, Mets Knicks fan. Let's go. Rather develop our young guys. Correa would be nice, but it's not worth it. I mean, the Mets have so many young players that they've been developing. They're probably not going to be stars, but they could be everyday players. Mauricio's had a big offseason, had a big winter league in the Dominican. They named him MVP down there. You have Brett Beatty. You have Mark Vientos. And why are you bringing in this guy? Unless you don't think those guys are any good. I mean, the team won 101 games with Escobar playing at third, and most of the season he did not have a good, time with the bat. So I'm trying to figure out why are you making yourselves go crazy over this particular player. Like I said, he's not Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor hit a lot of home runs before he got here with the Mets, and drove in a lot of runs before he got here. Let me go back to Baseball Reference. Let me just take a quick peek. Lindor has driven in 100 runs once. He did that last year for the Mets, and 90 runs another time. 1, 2, 3. 3 years in a row with the Guardians. He hit 30 home runs. Correa's never done that. Now his OPS plus as a player is lower than Correa, but Lindor's played a lot of games. 1, 2, 3, 4 times in his career he's played over 155 games. And last year he played 161 at a 162, and that's after he broke his hand in that hotel room. Kenneth Flood says this. I think you're losing it, Kenneth. Forget Correa. Keep Escobar and sign Bauer. You stay away from Bauer. He's a fucking weirdo. He's weird. He is weird. I predict he will go to a bad team. He will Aiden DeVilla. Aiden has turned angry tonight. I don't appreciate that. I think you're getting yourself a one-way ticket out of here. But Lindor's a better player than him, just overall. You know, he can still run. Um, he can still run. He's got big power for a little guy. I mean little. I mean thin and stuff. He's probably gonna steal more bases next year with them making those rules, those rule changes. Now his OPS plus is lower, like I said in his career, but he's played more games in that time. Uh, but interestingly enough, I'm just not a fan of Correa. Just not. Sorry, nobody can convince me otherwise. This is not going to be a problem here. And I know I take a big chance when I talk about that stuff. But hold on a second. Yeah, I mean, there's so much drama. I don't feel like dealing with this much longer. I know people don't. I got a headache from it. Uh, Aiden says this. I hope Brian Sabian and Omar Minaya help the Yankees out. Okay, this is the term we did not see. Who cares about the Yankees? Who cares about the Yankees? To be honest with you. Um, John Kennedy says it right. Bauer had his chance to be a Met, and he left the Mets standing at the altar. Let him play elsewhere. Right. He jerked the Mets around. So why even bother with that guy? Yep. You're absolutely right, Paul. That's exactly what will happen. And then WFAN will go on and say, oh, you know what? Mets shouldn't have signed him. They shouldn't have done that. I was reading on Twitter and how Gio in the morning with Boomer was very worried about this move. And they're such great Met fans. Those guys in the morning, they just love the Mets. They love the Mets so much. And this move of Correa is so great. But if Correa gets off to a terrible start, they will torch the Mets the first week of the season. They will torch Correa. If the guy sneezes wrong, they will destroy him. Um, they will absolutely rip him to pieces, up and down, and they will show you what they're really about. Their corporation. They're run by a corporation. They like to basically manipulate their audience. Um, you know, and they have not only do they have to sort of compete with other ESPN here and other radio stations around the country, they got to compete with the YouTube channels like myself. Ron Regan says this: I care about the Yankees, but I love your content. Well, thank you. I'll say it like it is. What's up with Rondon getting all that money? I don't think he's good, but he's not that good to get that kind of money. Hello, Lendog 73. Paul says this. Remember what they did to Lindor his first year, right? And it was terrible here for Lindor. And Correa is a different kind of cat. He'll go at it. He'll go right back and forth with whoever's going at him. So his attitude's a little bit different. Mike Law, Bauer more receptive to a 1-year deal to prove himself. Oh, you think so? Bauer's a disaster. Stay away from him, Mike. Abracadabra Barry says, I'm sorry. Let's see if Judge gets that sort of criticism from the New York media. Well, he does, I would mention that Judge had a career year last year. He'll not have that kind of year ever again. And you saw how the pressure really got to him and when he was getting close to that record. He was really choking. And then they didn't have a good postseason. He was booed, He was booed here, in October when they couldn't beat the Astros again. So he has been criticized by the fans too, and a lot of sort of criticism about about how the fans were treating the players. I hope that the Verlanders understand that if Justin doesn't pitch well, he will get booed. Okay, he will get booed, and if she acts ridiculous in the stands, they will boo her. They're not gonna Fans aren't gonna care how pretty she is, and how many covers of Sports Illustrated she's been on. The Mets will boo. We will boo her and boo him. Scherzer got booed by the way he pitched in October. You know, I'm keeping this tree up until this deal happens. Hello, Sean Zarnecki. Yes, this tree is staying up. Okay, this tree is staying up until this character is signed or not signed. My resolution is to keep this tree up until the end of the year. What year that is, I don't know. But and we talk about Bauer. Bauer is about as bad of a situation as you're going to get, and he's going to be signed by a bad team that doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if the Reds signed him. And then flip him at the trading deadline. I could see them doing that. I don't see the Marlins doing that. They don't do anything. Maybe I could see the Rangers doing that. I could see the Rangers doing that. I could see the big teams. I don't see them doing that because who wants to think about who wants to bring that cancer into your culture, especially if you're a winning team. Ron Regan, I think New York is the hardest market to play in. Do you agree? It has its. I mean, it's different here. I mean, you have what did Sandy call it? Panic City. Every little thing is just everything's a panic here. Everything's exaggerated here, and sometimes unfair. You have to have thick skin here, and you know, it could be very difficult here. I mean, and then you deal with the media that overreacts to everything because they're trying to get ratings on TV and on the radio, especially the radio. The radio is pretty toxic here. WFN is pretty toxic. David Smith. Scott Boras is using the same old tricks on the Mets with Carlos Correa that he used on the Phillies with Bryce Harper. So be it. So be it. But Steve Cohen has been dealing with agents and lawyers like this for years. He's not going to blink. Okay. He said that the money that he's been spending on the Mets he said he's been, working with bigger numbers than this. And it doesn't intimidate him. I don't think Scott Boras is going to intimidate him. He's going to understand that this is like a game of chicken right now. Okay. And who's going to blink? The Mets don't need Carlos Correa. All right. It's the other way around. It's either he's going to be a Met for the money that the Mets want him at in the years, or he's not. I don't expect Cohen to back down. Ron Regan says, who would you rather have than Correa? Well, right now, let's have a third baseman. Okay. They won 101 games with Escobar playing there, and with most of the season not hitting great. To me, I can live with it because Correa does not fill a need. He does not bat fifth. Nelson Cruz, where have you been, man? I hope you get a job in a DH spot. And just wait. I mean, next year you have Manny Machado as a free agent, and that guy can play third. He's a good third baseman, and that guy stays healthy. He's a number 5 hitter, a 3 hitter, a 4 hitter. You can bat him anywhere in the middle of the lineup. That guy would protect Pete. Correa can't protect himself, let alone that's an exaggeration. Paul says this Correa's biggest fear if he comes here is the watchful eye of the hut. Don't screw up, Carlos, because the hut will be on you like, well, I will be. You know, I'll be on him pretty hard. I was on Lindor the first year pretty good. And this show may not be big yet, but it's getting there. You know, I would say this. We're getting close to 3,000 subs. Let's see where we're at right now. We're 37 subs away from 3,000. So please, if you're in here for the first time, please subscribe. I ready to subscribe to the channel, then like the video, because that really helps out. That just helps me out. Because it means more people watch the videos, more people participate, and you got a lot of new people. So if you would, please hit the subscribe button. I posted in the link in the chat, so just go in there and just sub. That's it. I'd rather you do that than like the video. Liking the video is great, but understand that doesn't really help the channel out. Doing regular live streams, doing some shorts. I got to do like a funny short on Correa, like I did the other day. That was pretty funny. Making fun of this whole situation. Look, I want to see the players play well. I mean, I don't, because when the players don't play well, the Mets lose. So who the hell wants to watch the Mets when they're losing? That's no fun. You know, we've seen enough of that over the years. I'd rather see these guys play well. It means the Mets are winning. You know, and if this guy comes in here, and it seems to be the biggest problem with him is staying healthy. You know, and I would also mention that last year, when he was the man in Minnesota, that team collapsed. So this is a guy that needs the Mets more than the Mets need him. Mets don't need this guy. They can wait another year. They can let their kids develop. They don't need this guy at all. Don says, God, I hope with all my heart we don't get Machado. There's no way in how I could ever root for him. I think you would if he hit a home run in the ninth inning. What is the biggest issue with Machado? Other teams don't like him, right? He is hard-nosed player against the opponent. He'll spike you. I was thinking about what's so bad about that. Because 100 years ago, that was the norm. I never had any issue with that. You know. Don says he ended a player's career. Which player's career did he end? Pedroia. You know what? Let me tell you something about Dustin Pedroia. He was a little guy. Okay? He wasn't going to be playing for a long time. Okay? Dustin Pedroia. Let me take a look at Dustin. Dustin Pedroia is like a borderline Hall of Famer. Just looking at his statistics. I don't have a problem with players being dirty. I have no problem with that. No. Pedroia, I tell you, Pedroia, boy, looking at his numbers. And with the championships and the MVP, this guy's got a chance to the Hall of Fame. I don't have a problem with players that are dirty, to be honest with you. You know, I really don't take issue with that. You know, I take less issue than you know, and Buck Showalter loves him. So, and if you look at Machado's numbers, he's got a chance for the Hall of Fame too. Machado has. Let me just go through him a little bit. He's 29 years old. He's only a year older than Correa. He's got 283 home runs. He's hit 30 home runs. Get this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. He's hit 30 home runs 6 times. Correa's never done that once. 1, 2, 3. 3 times of 100 RBIs or more. And on some of these really bad teams in Baltimore. Scored 100 runs twice. He's got a higher batting average than Correa. This guy's a good player. He's a really good player. And his OPS plus is about the same. So, but he has more powers. David Smith, Mets can't waste this season with all the money they spent. This is a 2-year window for winning the World Series. Uh, I don't know where you get 2 years from. Anonymous Lives. You don't have any problems with dirty players, but you were just talking about Bauer. Bauer, guy doing criminal activity. That's not dirty. That's allegedly criminal. This is a guy throwing a baseball into the outfield because his manager wanted to take him out. This is a guy that fights with his teammates and acts weird around his teammates. And he's been like that since high school. Okay? I goof on the spider attack thing. Because pitchers have been cheating for 150 years. And Bauer's a nut job. Thunder says this. Bauer didn't really do anything, but I don't like him as a player. The rumor out in New York was reading articles was that some of the thing that if he didn't do anything, why did Major League Baseball suspend him for 2 years? And it was an arbitrator that made him get unsuspended. Machado was a guy that would hit fifth in this lineup, and he's still in his prime. Ron Regan says Trevor Bauer's a hothead. Don't want him on my team. He's not a hothead. He's just nuts. he's just fucking weird. Hold on, I need a drink. Look. But I just don't feel comfortable with Correa because I'm very concerned about the health of this player beyond this whole thing with this leg of his, this bum leg. Oh, here's a statement from Trevor Bauer. Let me read you his statement. And I would mention this about Rachel Lupa, his agent. She's got some sense of character with people. She's a good judge of character. She's like the agent for Trevor Bauer, who was accused of allegedly of raping a woman, and Yasiel Puig has been allegedly accused of gambling. Lendog 73. Watch his channel. He knows what he's doing when it comes to pitching. Do you know how to pitch, Lendog? I know I don't. That guy's full of shit. This guy's a bullshit artist. Here's a statement from Trevor Bauer. Should I read this? While we were unable to communicate throughout the administrative leave and arbitration process, my representative spoke to Dodgers leadership immediately following the arbitration decision. Following 2 weeks of conversations around my return to the organization, I sat down with Dodger leadership in Arizona yesterday, who told me that they wanted me to return and pitch for the team this year. While I'm disappointed by the organization's decision today, I appreciate the wealth of support I've received from the Dodgers clubhouse. I wish the players all the best and look forward to competing elsewhere. They're basically telling me, get the F out of here, you effing weirdo. That's just legalese. He's not going to say anything bad about the Dodgers. He can't. He's just a weirdo. You don't want him on your team. You don't want him on the Mets. I've been saying that for 2 years. Think about it. Look at the kind of trouble he got himself into. And then, Major League Baseball took it upon themselves to fire him. Basically sit him down without pay. Let me see something. And of course, please subscribe and like this video. And let me go on for a few more minutes. I'm not going to be doing this for too long. I'll be back tomorrow, by the way, in a live stream. And I'm probably back on Sunday. Let's see. Going through the Bleacher Report, I want to see where the Mets are because I'm curious to see where they are in terms of their farm system. And of course, please like this video, even though you probably shouldn't. Just subscribe. Anonymous Live says Bauer is a great pitcher. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. All right. The New York Mets, according to the Bleacher Report, have the 8th best farm system in baseball. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, it's a great statement. I wonder which lawyer. I wonder which law person wrote that statement. Oh, the Dodgers not even sat down. So the Mets have the 8th best farm system. That was from being at the bottom. Now they're at the top. That's good, and they're gonna have a good draft this year. Alvarez 1, Beatty 2nd, Kevin Parada 3rd. Keep an eye on him. He might be going up higher. Alex Ramirez 4th, Ronnie Mauricio 5th. I don't know where he's going. I don't know what this future is. Vientos is 6th. Jet Williams is 7th. Keep an eye on him. Calvin Ziegler. These are all the pitchers. Calvin Ziegler, Blade Tidwell, Matt Allen. Matt Allen hasn't pitched in 3 years. Or 4 years. What am I talking about? 4 years. The sports doctor says this. Oh, yeah, here's another great topic. How is it gambling on baseball is now legal and Pete Rose is in Cooperstown? Well, Pete Rose is on an ineligible list, which he put himself on. The gambling is a separate issue. I don't like this gambling until close to baseball, but that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame. He put himself on that list. He would have gotten in. Anthony says this: Correa or no Correa, the Mets can't come back this season with the same offensive team as last year. They need another bat if they're not getting Correa. Where are they getting another bat from? Well, they won 101 games, man. He is not the last. He's not a final piece to the puzzle. He's not the final piece to any puzzle. He's with this team. He's a complementary piece. He's a good complementary piece. But you don't say, and he's not the type you center your team around. He's just not that good. Sorry. Great defensive player. He's a good offense. He's not a great player. Pete Alonso's a great player. Great offensive player. Lindor is a great offensive player and very good player overall. A little inconsistent at times, but he's puts up big numbers. He deserves a bat third in this Met lineup. But Correa is not. Sorry. All right. Dunder, I had a funny feeling you were going to play a game. Because you were arguing with people in the videos earlier and attacking me. Again, this must be the same account from the other day. Get a life. I sound like Francesca. You waited this whole time for an hour on the phones. Bye-bye. You've now witnessed an actual skadoosh in progress because we have an immature person. I wonder if he's a comic book person. Must be. The team won 101 games. You would hope that the Mets will be just as good. If they're just as good, this team has a chance to go to the World Series no matter what. So, the Mets found themselves in a weird situation. They went up. First of all, the Mets have won 8 out of 12 games before those 6 out of 7 against the Braves. The last 7 games were in Atlanta. Mets don't play historically well in Atlanta. Um, the Mets went up against teams that they've struggled against in the past, like the Oakland A's. Their four best players did not play well in September. Pete didn't hit a lot. Lindor didn't hit a lot. And that's why they didn't hit the way they should have. And DeGrom had a horrendous September for him. And he ran almost 5 in September. He pitched a horrible game in Oakland. You do that, and they tied for the division. It wasn't like they lost the division, but because of this stupid rule now, that's why they lost the division. They finished with the same record as the Braves. Okay? The Braves played 800 baseball for 4 months. Mets didn't lose the division. So, you got to sort of look at it objectively. I'll look at it objectively. And it didn't matter anyway because the Phillies went to the World Series. And Starling Marte did not play. He didn't play in September. Doe Whip Dad happened to be a new subscriber. Love the baseball talk. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, we talk about baseball here pretty much every day. You'll get a video every day. So even if I don't do a live stream, you'll get a video, I think. Unless like the last week for a few days I took time off, but I usually have something every day here, so you'll get something here. You'll get something out of this every day. Carl Herschel, Series Question Hut. If you had a vote, is Pete Rose getting a vote? Well, he's a Hall of Fame player based on his record. But he's on this ineligible list. So even if I had a vote, I couldn't vote for him because he's on that, and it's past a long time, He went past the 15 years when he was supposed to be eligible. Hold on a second. Now, of course, please like this video and subscribe. Pete Rose is a Hall of Famer. But he put himself on an ineligible list. And because of that ineligible list, nobody could vote for him. From John Kennedy, Johnny Bench said Pete Rose should not be in the Hall of Fame. Pretty strong opinion from his longtime teammate. Well, Johnny Bench is a guy that is very he's a character guy since he played. If Johnny says that, I'll go with Johnny. Stony 814. Hut's got me on this Machado kick, he said. Now, that's a guy we need. He's a player like Lindor and Alonso. He's pretty damn good. He's a good player. Like I said, you can bat him fifth. He does hit good pitching. He's a terrific third baseman. Just wait a year. He's a better fit. And we also can't forget about that other guy that's going to be a free agent next year. What was that guy's name? Oh, yeah, Shohei Ohtani. Be talking about him a lot this year. If you want Shohei Ohtani going to the Mets content, this is the channel for you. Because I'm going to do all kinds of videos. I'll do videos where I can come up with trades for him. I would say I have a big problem with this selection committee. See, that's the thing. I'll get to that. But Pete Rose, if they were to get him off that ineligible list, he'd get voted in. I don't know how he would get voted in, considering he didn't for 30 years didn't admit that he gambled. And then he takes a picture of himself gambling on the Reds to win the World Series. But about this selection committee, I would like to know who those people voted for during this committee. You have people on here and the media, the media is biased. I'd like to know um, why certain media people that are on that committee voted. Did they vote for Kurt Schilling? Was Kurt Schilling a political move, or was he on? Um, um, was it based on how he played? I'll let you think about that because I got to take care of something. Be right back. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I had to use the bathroom. Whew. These things happen. Yeah. So talking about the selection committee at the Hall of Fame that they have now with the veterans, I'd like to know who voted for who, and why. Why they didn't vote for certain players. And um, if you don't like even vote on the ballot, you should lose your ability to be on the ballot because there was one ballot that nobody voted on. They should have lost it. Um, a lot of these players have been waiting to get in for a long time. Now, thinking about Fred McGriff, he was always a borderline case. You know, he was not a slam dunk case. He didn't hit 500 home runs. Not too many times he led the league in home runs. He was a big player on a team that won a World Series, but he wasn't really. There were better players than him that were on, that were in the league. Um, and I mean, guys like Barry Bonds, Barry and Clemens were guys that before they allegedly did steroids, they were Hall of Fame players. Okay. If Clemens' career had ended after 96, he was going to the Hall of Fame. You know, prior to Bonds doing steroids in 98 or whatever year it was, 99 or whatever, He was going to the Hall of Fame, and they were always Bonds was always looked upon as one of the best players in the game, along with Ken Griffey and for a little while Bo Jackson. So you do that based on that. They didn't even get a sniff. Albert Bell, purely on numbers, he's a Hall of Famer. You know, and it's like, what's the point of this? And it was such a weird bout. Keith Hernandez isn't on the ballot. Keith had a higher WAR than Fred McGriff did. He has a higher WAR than Fred McGriff, Gil Hodges, Tony Perez, Orlando Cepeda, 4 Hall of Famers. And he gets discriminated against because he didn't hit for a lot of home runs. When he won 2 championships for 2 teams, was a centerpiece for 2 teams, not 1 team. And of course, Carlos Delgado. His WAR is similar to Gil Hodges' WAR. He doesn't get a sniff. He doesn't get a sniff. I mean, the guy was a big player in Toronto, and he was a great player for the Mets for a couple of years. So it's like, why didn't he get in? He didn't even get a sniff. And then you see this nonsense with Todd Helton. This is a joke. Todd Helton. This is a guy that was accused for doing steroids when he played. And Piazza too. Piazza should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer because of rumors. But meanwhile, Todd Helton is going to be in the Hall of Fame. When there was talk that he was doing steroids, they're very inconsistent. The sports doctor, says, off topic, the other night you were talking about retired numbers. What about Fonzie's not lucky 13? Nah, I don't think so. No. I don't see that number getting retired. You got to take into account players that won a World Series too, or in the Hall of Fame. The guys up on in left field, they specifically, with either all-time players or they went to the World Series with the Mets. Jerry Kuzman won a lot of World Series games. He's a big pitcher for the Mets. Gets overshadowed by Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver, obviously. Keith won World Series here. He, in my view, is a Hall of Famer. Gets retired. Piazza's one of the great players in the game. Willie Mays' number should have gotten retired a long time ago. Just based on the fact that he's a legendary player. And here's a good comparison. Did you know that Henry Aaron's number 44 is retired by the Brewers? And he played 2 years there on a bad team. Willie played with the Mets on a good team. He had his year was not great that last year, but it was above average, his OPS plus. And they credit him a lot. If you watch this documentary on Willie Mays, they credit him a lot to them getting to the World Series. They really did, And Gary Carter's number 8 should be retired. That's an obvious thing. Really, the next 2 numbers that should be retired is number 8 should be next, and then number 5. That's really the how I look at it. Sports Doctor says this. Mike Mussina, Lee Smith, and Harold Baines are not Hall of Famers. Well, Harold Baines isn't. That's for damn sure. And neither was Lee Smith, to be honest with you. Harold Baines was, I don't know how he got in. I don't understand that one. How he got in is beyond me. Because he's not the greatest DH of all time. By any stretch of the imagination. Greatest DH of all time is Edgar Martinez. And how another guy, here's David Ortiz. The guy failed a steroid test. The same test that A-Rod failed. A-Rod got destroyed. And David Ortiz basically screamed at the media and got away with it. I never understood that. Hello, Ron Duffney. I never understood that about Ortiz, how Ortiz got away with it. And then meanwhile, Ortiz is in some club about a year or two ago, and he gets shot, gets shot in the back, and the media, I don't know, covered it up, or that he was like, that some mobster down there was trying to kill him because he kind of confused him with somebody that was cheating on him. His wife was cheating on him. It's crazy. Uh, but and Lee Smith, another guy. That's a compiler if there ever was one. I never looked at him as a Hall of Fame. I saw most of his career. Mike Bucina is a borderline guy. Won 270 games. Won a lot of games with Baltimore and the Yankees. And he was a number one pitcher down in Baltimore. But I had no problem with Bucina, but Lee Smith's not a Hall of Famer. At Lee Smith's a Hall of Famer. John Franco's a Hall of Famer. Because those are comparable guys. Let me see. I'm not even that big on Trevor Hoffman for that matter. Lee Smith's got a WAR of 28.9, ERA career-wise 3.03, 478 saves. Let me take a look at Johnny Franco. Now, meanwhile, please subscribe and like this video. John Franco's 23.4 wins above replacement, a 2.89 ERA. And he's a guy who pitched a long time. 424 saves, the most saves by a lefty in Major League history. Now, Johnny's not a Hall of Famer, but how's Lee Smith a Hall of Famer? And Johnny, not for nothing, led the league in saves a lot of times. 3 times in his career. People forget how good Johnny was, especially with the Reds. He was a good closer. He made your blood pressure go up. But he was a good closer, though. Trevor Hoffman. Let me take a look at Trevor Hoffman. I'm not a big fan of his. Every big game that guy ever pitched, he blew it. Every time. Every time. His WAR is 28. But an ERA 2.87. This guy's a compiler, too. And he pitched in a very soft market. 601 saves. He's second all time. Look at how many times Mike Piazza killed him. Just destroyed him. The guy blew a game. In the All-Star game. Who blows the All-Star game? Now, obviously, the all-time closer is Mariano Rivera. His WAR is 56.3. Nobody's even close. Raleigh Fingers, 25.6. Let me look at Tug McGraw. Tug is 21.8. So, Trevor Bauer is kind of in the muck with the rest of these relievers, But we're going to end the live stream now. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be a video during the day. Hopefully we'll get some news on Correa, but it doesn't look good. Correa's probably he's probably not going to sign here, I would think. I would put the percentage at 30%, maybe 35% that he'll sign with the Mets. It's gone from 55% to now 35%. And again, I'm not for this player. I'm not a big fan of the player. There's something not right about him. I can't put my finger on it. So I don't want him here with the Mets. He's already a headache, and he hasn't even signed. But yes, thank you guys for coming by. I'll be back tomorrow. I will be back possibly on Sunday. I'm going to be on a lot live every day if I can. Until we have a resolution. On this situation. So once we have a resolution, then I can do other things. Just do regular videos, hang out at the football hut, and go from there. So thank you for coming by. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Thank you. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.